weather. This is your host, Sarah. Today we are doing an update for January 20th, 2026, where we are still talking about what it's shaping up to look like will be a major storm for some, winter storm specifically, with ice and snow definitely impacting a good chunk of the country. And again, kind of what the model is showing, what is the forecast? Is there a forecast currently? Can we know what to expect, etc.? What we can do to prepare as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We will be looking at the latest key messages from posted around an hour ago from the National Weather Service Weather Prediction Center. Key messages for the major January winter storm, which is going to start happening around the 23rd into possibly the 25th to the 26th, depending on the timing. So as you can see here, they are talking that it is definitely looking like we're going to have a very large winter storm that will be causing a lot of heavy snow, sleet, and freezing rain for a good chunk of the country, everything from southern Rockies into the plains, into the mid-south. And then, of course, fleeing through the East Coast through Sunday. Of course, there'll be a lot of major cold temperatures, freezing temperatures, dangerously cold out there for early next week as well. So this kind of moves south, which could in turn kind of do what we saw happen last year, where it was so cold, snow would melt, it would refreeze overnight into ice, and it kind of kept it around for about a week, at least where I am. That's definitely happened in 2025. So it does look like that we might be talking about a similar scenario. Again, not saying it's going to hit all the same areas. This one's definitely going to be more of impactful storm for our people than what we had this past week. Because the past weekend kind of had an appetizer, if you will, for what this one is going to bring. We do know heavy snow is going to happen. Again, we don't know how much or exactly where, but we do know it is very likely at this point that some people will be seeing it, unfortunately, especially with in the Southern Rockies, South Central Plains, and through the Mid Atlantic. So it does look like the South might not get much heavy snow at the moment. Can that change between now and then? Yes, obviously it can. As I do say the models will show different things between now and then. But for right now, that looks like those are the areas that are thinking heavy snow will happen. Dangerous ice is also going to happen again, southern plains to mid south, and including parts of the Carolinas. As you can see down here, it does show kind of what they think are thinking will be the definitive line between snow and freezing rain. So everywhere from Austin up through North Texas into southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, most of Mississippi, about half of Alabama, most of Georgia, pretty much all of South Carolina, part of North Carolina, and a very, very southern tip and edge of Tennessee will be where the freezing rain will be. Everywhere else north of that will be getting snow in the blue. Funny enough, they're not really showing Michigan getting snow, but we do have other ones hinting that you guys will be getting snow, like the Dakotas, and Nebraska and such. So we will continue to monitor that. But this is from what we posted an hour ago. Does look like Florida and the Panhandle. Right now, they're not thinking you guys are going to be at risk for freezing rain, which is probably a much needed relief after the snow that you guys did encounter this past weekend. Looks like New Orleans will be okay, and of course, the extreme coastal beach areas of the Gulf Coast will also not be impacted. As of right now, as of again of January 20th, can this change and will this change before now and then? Most likely it will. It might shape up, might truly be the pattern it will hold. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. We'll touch on the base on kind of bit how they were going to try to figure this out to get a more definitive forecast out for you guys. Again, so I mentioned like dangerous hazards, the travel conditions being bad, power damage, or power outages and tree damages cannot be ruled out, especially for some areas where these guys do get over an inch of ice, which could be possible with some parts of the storm. Again, we don't know exactly when, where, who, how will all have it at the moment, but it is looking like that Dallas and Oklahoma and Arkansas, Louisiana, you guys have probably a completely reasonable chance of seeing some devastating ice, even like Atlanta, Tennessee, um, you know, Birmingham, places like that, you guys might. And then, of course, again, they do touch on forecasted certainty. So, again, you'll be seeing a lot of hype from the next few days from people saying, oh my gosh, you're going to get 20 inches of snow in Oklahoma City. One weather app shows this, one weather app shows that. This is what, one model shows. Again, this is nothing is definitive. We do not have a definitive forecast at the moment. What is most likely, yes, there will be a major cold snap and a white swath of snow and ice that I mean that's let's be honest, that's probably going to happen for some people again. And for a large amount of people. But again, we just don't know how much when and where. We don't know quite the timing. We don't know quite the locations of what we're going to see, rain versus ice versus snow, or, how much you guys are going to get. Again, as we get closer, I'm thinking probably possibly late tomorrow or into Thursday, we will definitely have a better idea of where that will all be. But in the meantime, just is where what they are thinking. Then they also had awareness slide I wanted to share with you guys about again key messages for the late January extreme cold. So this ice and snow that's going to be coming through is definitely going to be kind of the main new deal here for a while. What comes in behind it and after it will be again devastating cold. You can see here minimum wind chill from January 22nd to the 26th. I mean, areas that will be, close to, some places being a negative, definitely more in the northern plains and of course the Rocky Mountains, southern Rocky Mountains, in Dallas, guys will have probably wind chills possibly up to 0 degrees, maybe a little bit to the negative. Atlanta, you'll be closer to having 10-degree wind chill. Boston, you guys would definitely be very cold, closer to 30 and 40 or in 20s. And of course, over Dakotas and Minnesota, -40. So we're talking about very, very dangerously cold. And this is going to last at least until February 3rd, as what you're thinking. So, like I mentioned, the cold will come in behind the storm and have quite devastating temperatures and wind chills for everyone in the early next week, including all the way into the Gulf Coast. So, even if you live in Houston, New Orleans, Biloxi, Pensacola, anything where like that, you might not get the ice, but you guys will definitely feel the cold after the ice. You'll be like, "Where's the ice? We should have the ice for what we're and snow, what we're dealing with." So this can be very, very cold. Again, dangerous wind chills. The cold will linger into early February. So while they did say it looked like that we were going to have a warm January, that's just not what turned out to happen, at least for a good portion of the country. Yes, maybe the west side of the coast or west side of the country has had warmer temperatures, but that's something has not swung out east for everyone. So it does look like we will be having, quite cold weather at least into early February and prepare for like which I do have the information on what you guys can do to kind of prepare for that. So this again is from the National Weather Service, kind of again from 2 hours ago, Friday night to Saturday. What they are calling the probability of at least moderate winter weather impact. So could cause hazardous driving conditions. Use caution. So you can see this from Friday night to Saturday. Again, you know, uh, Southern Plains would definitely be feeling it, even a little bit into the Ohio Valley. You guys will be feeling it as well. Definitely very, very cold. New Mexico, surprisingly, will looks like it would even be having a little bit more impact than like the Denver area in Colorado to the north. So that's quite interesting. But Oklahoma, all of Kansas, most of Texas, all of Arkansas, Missouri, most of Louisiana, you guys will be dealing with that. If we go forward into what will be for Saturday night and Sunday, you do see that kind of swing to the east. So you definitely see Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama into the northern side of it, guys, as well. Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee will definitely having it, and you'll even have it kind of lingering over there, somewhat into Oklahoma and North Texas, or at least over there by Wichita Falls and Vinson. So definitely, very miserable. So if you look at the percentages, so like in the red, you know, bright red is talking about 60 to 70%. So a little bit of the northern Atlanta metro area, Biloxi, pretty much all of Tennessee, pretty much all of North Carolina. And even the coastal areas for North Carolina are showing about 50 to 40% chance of, moderate winter weather impact. So it's definitely interesting. You can even see it kind of coming down the coast of South Carolina and even a little bit into Georgia where you have over by Savannah area, Hinesville area, anywhere from 20 to 5%. Again, this probably will change between now and then. Will that go? Will the map kind of move more north? Will we see those colors move more north the next day or two? Or will it even clip further south where you might see it closer to the Florida, Georgia line, Alabama, coastal area? So we'll have to kind of wait and see, but that is what they're looking like. Again, the probability of what they think could happen or most likely will happen for areas at the moment. And then for Sunday night into Monday, again, still most of Georgia being very cold. All of South Carolina, pretty much all of North Carolina, and then up to the Mid Atlantic into southern New England as well. So very cold, very miserable. Um, this is going to be like it's what uh, more than 24-hour, 48-hour, more like 72-hour event for this country. So you can probably count on a lot of you're going to be flying out anytime this weekend. Flights are probably canceled for a good chunk of the country, even lingering out somewhat to the west side of the country if you guys can't fly across. Roads will be hazardous. It will be just dangerous. Definitely a weekend to kind of buckle down and batten down your hatches and get, as warm as you guys can and be prepared. Make sure you make good preparations. Definitely beginning probably tomorrow or the next day, especially for more of the southern Rockies to the southern plains. You guys should have it done definitely by probably tomorrow night, Thursday morning. And then a little bit longer to go for further east you go. I would say at the latest for the East Coast, you probably want to have it done by Friday. Let's go ahead and look at total freezing rain. This is the GFS model. So again, this is a model. It's not a forecast. As I mentioned previously, you guys know this is true with hurricane systems and all weather systems. GFS is very ambitious. It has big dreams of what it thinks will happen. A lot of times, it's not what you see or what people are putting on the internet. It's not necessarily what the reality will be. A good example of that was past weekend with snow. I do have a post on my Facebook page showing what the snow reports were again versus what people were trying to say, making it sound like basically the entire south was covered in snow down to the beaches, which again just was not the reality. So keep that in mind as we look at this. So this is for Friday at midnight, and if we go forward, you'll see. Let's go for 3 a.m. Let's go to 9 a.m. Friday. Start seeing where to think. So again, 9 a.m. nothing. Um, 3 o'clock. Starting to see a little bit over there in Oklahoma. We look at Saturday night, midnight. You definitely start seeing the snowing the Dallas area and out west of it. Definitely starting to feel it. If we go ahead to Sunday at midnight, you definitely feel the rough. So again, all the way from like El Paso, clear across into halfway through the state of Georgia, and then of course Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi. If you guys do see all that, okay, that will be freezing rain. If we look at the numbers, it does show some people getting up to 1 inch, which is pretty terrifying. This part of the country is not used to that. It's not built for it. Again, this is just one model run. This is not an official forecast, so take this with a grain of salt. But it's definitely showing possibility of having an impressive season. Again, with knowing it's colder, bigger, more powerful than the last one, I would say definitely something to be mindful of. This one does show not being quite as wide as it had, I feel like, in the past day or two. It's kind of narrowed it down, but definitely showing impacts even all the way a little bit over there by the eastern side of Houston. This is the same kind of, well, this is a snowfall one for the Europe. So again, we're starting at midnight on Friday. We go to 12 noon. You start seeing some a little bit of snow over there by Wyoming into Nebraska. Let's go ahead and click at Saturday midnight. Definitely seeing it kind of build up again for the Rockies, showing more there for possible snow. We look at 6 p.m. Saturday. That's where you start seeing it really filling out more. So again, Oklahoma, southern Kansas, Arkansas, a little bit in southern Missouri, and of course into Tennessee, very northern Alabama and Mississippi, um, and even a little bit on the very fringe of North Carolina and Georgia. Um, let's go ahead and look at Sunday at 6 p.m. So again, you see this one's kind of taking a little bit more farther north to the snow. So Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, and of course the Mid Atlantic. Not really showing the snow pushing down very far south. So again, these model runs will change between then and now before the storm does happen. So do keep that in mind. And again, it's just the Euro model. If we look at the wind chill index, this is the Euro. This is for Friday at midnight. So you're definitely starting to see the wind chill creep down. So you can see negative 40s and 20s in Montana and the Dakotas and Minnesota. Um, Kansas having 26 or 31, Colorado 29, 33, so southern Colorado. So the Pueblo region being close to being close to freezing point at that point. Not quite as cold yet into Dallas and Oklahoma, but in 40s, again, it's in country, showing, very cold, again, kind of more of the central plain, southern plains into the mid that are deep south, 50s and 40s. And if we go ahead to Friday at 6 p.m., you see it's definitely starting to click further south. So North Texas, 21, 34, 39, 8 degrees in Oklahoma City, 5 degrees in Denver. Um, Oklahoma, I'm not Oklahoma, Tennessee, 24, very, very cold as it continues to go down. Again, negatives for the upper northern plains, central plains. If we look at Saturday at midnight, again, definitely more cold, below freezing for sure in the Dallas area, including down there closer to Austin, Tennessee, definitely feeling that. Arkansas starting to creep into Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama at that point. If we look at Saturday at 6 p.m. here, definitely cools down further south. So come at 1 degree over there by not too far from DFW, -9 for Oklahoma City. Funny enough, Denver is showing 4 degrees compared to -9, which is quite interesting. Atlanta, you'll be 25. Parts of Tennessee, 5 to 11. -5 in Kentucky, 5 in Virginia, West Virginia, I should say specifically, um, and then 10 degrees in over there by Raleigh, 17 degrees over there by Wilmington, 30 degrees over there by Charleston. So definitely getting colder, and so we swing that into Sunday at 6 p.m. Again, just one model Euro. Um, Having what appears to be, is that, I think, 36 for Savannah, 13 degrees for Denver, Salt Lake City, 28, 6 degrees in Dallas, -1 in Kansas, -21 in North Dakota, um, -9 degrees in New England, 0 degrees for New York, -4 for middle part of Pennsylvania. So again, very, very cold. So even if you guys don't get the snow or ice, you guys are going to still be dealing with incredibly dangerously cold weather, which in turn can bring also power outages if more people are drawing on heat. Pipes could be bursting, especially if you're more in the central part of the country in the south where the buildings are just not built for it. So do definitely take the weather threat seriously, even if you're not forecasted to get snow or ice. Let's see what this one is. This is the GFS for the wind chill. Did email just stop if we didn't? Okay. So for Friday at midnight, it showed 32, 28, 27 in the central part, southern Rockies, you can start with the plains. Let's go forward to 9 a.m. Friday. So it's dipping, it's quite cold. So again, in Kansas, -1. You have 25, 23 for Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Over there in the Panhandle, you have 21. Let's see, at 6 p.m. Friday, so it's cleaning down into DFW, 30, 27, 15. You have 23 in Tennessee. You have 29 in part of Virginia. Let me create, very cold. So definitely want to be aware of this as we head on. We look at 6 a.m. Saturday. It definitely, again, moves to the south, but closer to East Texas, you have 23 degrees, Birmingham 12, Meridian 12, Atlanta starting to get very cold in the 30s, 36 degrees over there. Again, kind of on the exact Gulf Coast and a little bit on the southeast coast. We're still seeing things above freezing, which could be a saving grace for us. If it's not, at freezing or below, that might hinder our ability to get sleet or freezing rain. But definitely for snow, so that is good news. Again, this is just one model. We'll have to kind of wait and see. It does seem like that's what the National Weather Service is leaning toward thinking as well. Um, Saturday at the 16 in 10 degrees in Dallas, 9 degrees and 13 degrees in Tennessee, 16 degrees in North Carolina, 9 degrees. No, 16 degrees would be in South Carolina. Apologies for that. 20 degrees in Atlanta. Um, -0 degrees in Pennsylvania. Minnesota, you're having -14, -20. Very, very cold. But definitely going down, even slipping more into the Gulf Coast. So Houston, you'd be 25 degrees. At that point, you would be below freezing come 6 p.m. It's just track holds true and this model is showing the truth. It will be very cold for you guys. Well, you might get freezing rain if it does seem that far down south with the moisture and that cold for you guys. Um, Sunday at 3 p.m. So again, very, very cold, 24 degrees Savannah, 11 degrees in South Carolina, 6 degrees in North Carolina, -36 in the North Dakota, -15, -4, -9 in Montana, -6 in the southern part or the mid of Michigan, 2 degrees over there by the Great Lakes in New York, 8 degrees in Kansas, 10 degrees in Denver, 22 in Colorado Springs or more southern Colorado Springs and Pueblo, 13 degrees in Oklahoma City. So very, very cold again. And then let's see which one this is. This is the tender. This is the one that the National Weather Service uses. So it's kind of a controlled number. So it's kind of a mashup between the two. So we do start at 12 a.m. Friday. So North Dakota, -4, South Dakota 5, Colorado 22, 24, or not Colorado, I'm sorry, Wyoming. Cheyenne 27, Denver 27. So definitely not as cold as some of them are showing yet, but again, that would be very, very early Friday. We look at 12 noon on Friday. You start getting much colder in Oklahoma, funny enough, it will be 8 degrees compared to the north being in Kansas 13, 16, 17. Dallas, they will be below freezing. It will be all be below freezing at that point. 19, 25, 21. Atlanta, you'll be barely below freezing at 30. 27 for North Carolina. Um, Illinois, 0, 4, and 6, closer, cold as close you are to the Great Lakes. So very, very cold. Oops, what was that? Oh, it was 12 for Sunday. So yes, um, again, very, very cold air is building in behind this main event. If we do look at the probability for 72-hour snow accumulating, so this is going through from tomorrow, Wednesday, 21st, to Saturday, 24th. It does show really only snow over there by the Great Lakes at the moment. It's not showing snow over here yet. It does look like the Rockies have a little bit in Colorado. We'll wait and see. Again, they don't have a finalized forecast, and they might not be showing the threat yet because they just don't have it quite down to um, the odds or percentage that they think will happen. But as for snow, let's go ahead and take a look at the freezing rain. For the same time. So we look at the freezing rain for the same time from Wednesday through Saturday. We do see a probability of, they give it a low one right now in Texarkana between 1 to 5%. So we'll probably continue to see this grow and get bigger as we go forward in the next day or two. But right now, they're not really trying to give you an idea of what you can expect because they just don't have forecasts quite nailed down. We're going to look at the 10-year anomaly. Oh, I think we already saw that. And go for that. Let me get some of my real ones. Okay, so for GFS total snowfall, so this is again midnight Friday. You see the Northern Plains, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley definitely having some snow there, which includes sleet, so snow or sleet. Keep going forward. You see around 12, it's noon Friday, you start seeing snow more in Wyoming, Montana, starting to go a little bit over there in Fort Worth, and even a little bit over there in California. Um, and then if we look at midnight Saturday, you see more snow building in from New Mexico, across Texas into the northern half of Alabama. Definitely by 6 a.m. Saturday, definitely more snow building up. This one's showing possibly up to 8 inches. That point for DFW with 3 inches over there in Oklahoma. Again, this is just one model. This is not forecast. So, the numbers are going to be a little bit all over the place. So don't focus on it too much, but it's showing that somewhat. As we go forward into 6 p.m. up to 18 inches in Dallas, 7 in Oklahoma City. Again, pretty bizarre for them to say. 6 inches over there in northern Alabama, 1 inch in Kentucky, 1 inch in northern Tennessee, 21 inches of DFW midnight Sunday. That would definitely take one heck of a storm to do that. Again, I don't think those are the numbers that we are going to see. Time will tell a bit closer, but it's showing it's definitely creeping more into the south. Keeps growing. So over there by Macon, up to 4 inches. You guys will get that. 20 over there in very northern Georgia, over there in Appalachians. Again, unlikely. Um, by 6 p.m. Sunday, no, about an inch or less, or around an inch over there, even in coastal South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, um, Charleston, and being very, very close to the Savannah area. Houston having roughly around the same amount. New Orleans, coastal Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida so far not shown. And continue on. So again, seeing that they kind of escape the freezing precipitation, but not necessarily the wind chill or temperatures that will come in after that. So it's unlikely 15 to 23 inches, 1 to almost 2 feet of snow is unlikely. I would say at this point, of course, I could be wrong. We'll wait and see. But again, this is just kind of giving you an idea of where these models are, really picking up the signals of where they think. Definitely a lot less snow over there in the Northern Plains, which is interesting. Now, if we look for the Euro for some of the things, we're starting at midnight Friday. You see a little bit of rain precipitation, instant precipitation over here. So you see it in Georgia, Alabama, southern um, Mississippi, a little bit over there in the panhandle of Florida. Um, Going forward, you start seeing more rain building up over there by the Red River. You start seeing some snow over there in Wyoming and Colorado, rain in southern New Mexico. Starting seeing a little bit of ice and snow over there by Wichita Falls, into southern Oklahoma. Again, southern Oklahoma going a little bit into West Texas, and starting Dallas starting to get it. Again, Texarkana, Arkansas, not quite in Louisiana yet, by 6 a.m. Saturday. Definitely continue growing east. More snow in Oklahoma and in Kansas and Nebraska. Going forward, the snow and ice grows for more out towards the east. So you're starting to see snow in Tennessee, ice in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Going forward, by 6 p.m. Big chunk of Texas having mostly ice with some snow, rain in more of the Houston area, um, northern Georgia into the very western edge of South Carolina starting to see ice. North Carolina definitely getting snow. By 9 a.m. Sunday, mm, good chunk of Georgia, about half having ice. Uh, Pretty much all of South Carolina, pushing its way further east and a little bit south. DC kind of turning more into rain on the tail end of the entrance into Alabama and Georgia, which gives snow more in northern Georgia and, of course, northern Carolina. And then Monday, midnight, again, just rain. So that is the Euro showing time will tell on who will get snow, who will get sleet, who will get rain. Again, there with the temperature looking like it's going to most likely stay above freezing. I would say the closer you are to the ocean, the less likely you will see snow or sleet. The further away you are, the more likely to see it. Again, we'll get more finalized forecasting as we get closer in the next day or two. So we'll see if and how that changes. But I would say you're most likely just going to have very cold rain. Maybe if it's gets low enough overnight for a couple hours, you still have rain water draining off on the ground. You might get some ice caps then. Which if you're on the coastal regions, you need to be prepared for as well. Case especially with Monday, this leads up to not being a holiday like last Monday was. So what does this all mean? What can we expect? Well, here is the ice accumulation impacts. If you go back looking at some of um let's see this for the ice. Let's see here. Let me show basic ice over here. So southern Dallas Fort Worth area possibly having zero point 0.5 to 0.25. You know, you could have scattered power outages or minor damage, or conditions to be monitored, limited ice on some trees. If they gain more ice, clean 0.25, 0.50, you're going to have more abundant outages, icy, slick roads, of course, more tree damage, and then anything closer to an inch would be devastating. Will there be some areas in the path of the storm that will get major ice? That's looking more likely. It's not set in stone. It's not official. Um, even it can be devastating to even have just a little bit of ice that you can see over here. So these are some of the impacts that you could expect leading up or during the storm and after, especially if it does shut down a big chunk of the country, as it could very well if we do end up seeing this widespread snow and ice event this weekend. With the storm prep, so now is the time to start preparing. I would say if you're anywhere from the Central Plains, Southern Rockies, all the way to deep south, Mid Atlantic, the Ohio Valley, up to New England. Now is the time to start getting prepared. Again, we don't have an official forecast per se yet, but it is looking shaping up more than likely that this will be a devastating storm. With a very high chance of having wide impacts for a good chunk of the country, so you don't want to be caught without supplies. So batteries and flashlights are always good to have. A battery-operated radio to receive weather updates, external power battery banks from local devices to be fully charged. And if you have them or you need to go get them, I would spend the next day or two making sure you fully charge them up. They do usually have lights indicators on them to let you know if something's fully charged. Keep your home stocked with shelf-stable food and water that does not require power to cook or to safely consume. So, usually hear people say get bread and milk. Well, at this point, it's going to get power outages. I would not get milk unless it's shelf stable milk, which you can find at places, even like Dollar Tree, which is nice. Dollar Tree is a good supply or source for some of this information or supplies you might need. Extra pet food, warm shelter for them in bed, if it's a grocery store you need for family, a first aid kit. If you have a baby, have the supplies that you need for them, diapers, food, wipes, etc. Um, Make sure you have a way to heat your home. Some people in more like the northern part of the country, so like talking more like the Great Lake, you guys use fuel to heat your home. So make sure you have that topped off. Have extra emergency heat backup. So things like logs you have a fireplace, extra blankets if you don't. Maybe see if they can find a battery operated heater or get like the hand warning things to have on hand too. Make sure you have a fire extinguisher. Test your smoke alarm. Make sure it's working. Test your carbon monoxide detector. If you have a generator, check that. Make sure you have fuel for that. Make sure it's safely hooked up and that it's going to be a safe distance away from any of your building, of your home, where people live, because people do a lot of times end up dying from carbon monoxide poisoning. Have salt and snow shovels. You don't understand how important that will be unless you are trapped in your home, especially with the cold air coming in behind all this precipitation. We will likely see some of the snow and ice sticking around for a while. Having ice and snow shovels can help you get you out of your home a little bit sooner and have people need to come visit you or see you or whatever. You want them to have a way to get there safe through that sliding, and then also have an emergency kit in the automobile. Um, blankets, flares, flashlights, anything along those lines that can help them to see these stuff, especially come Monday. And then, of course, something interesting. You don't hear it too often. Hurricane hunters will actually be flying into the winter storm tomorrow, which is very interesting. So they will be flying out of Miami into let's see what time I got into. Um, so yeah, tomorrow into um, Thursday, they were flying into it to kind of test and sample the air, get a better idea of, you know, how far is the jet stream going to dip, is there a weakness anywhere, things like that. So they can put this information into the models and get a better, more fine-tuned forecast in a day or two. So we definitely, by Thursday, should definitely be having more information. So that's exciting, fun, and something you don't see too often. You're just sending the hurricane hunters out for a non-hurricane middle of the landlocked of the continent. That is very interesting. So what do you might say, okay, Sarah, you went over a lot of information. What do we know? Well, what we do know is there is going to be a major cold snap, very dangerous cold temperatures, wind chills. Um, most of the country is going to feel the impacts from that. There's no ifs or buts about that, but that is what is going to happen. The question remains, how fast is the system going to move? Where is it going to move? How much, precipitation and what kind of precipitation and where is it going to happen? I would say with pretty good confidence, I would say if you're from New England to the Middle Atlantic, expect it. Like there's probably no way you're going to miss out on any of that. I would say same for the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. You're most likely definitely going to be seeing something from that. I would even say Central Plains, Southern Rockies. Again, at this point, pretty confident. I would say the area where we don't have super confidence is, and this is with the map that I created earlier today, kind of showing what they were giving us information about earlier today. So it's not completely, fully updated. Hopefully, I can update tomorrow to get more information. But everything blue, snow, ice, more in the purple area. Um, we will have to wait and see, where the ice will be in sleep. I will say because of just the history of ice storms and things like that in Oklahoma City and Dallas, I would say with pretty good confidence, you probably can expect at least some type of ice. I don't know necessarily you'll get snow, but ice and freezing rain and sleet is likely. It's likely it will melt and freeze, and you will have an ice storm for a few days. But places like Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia, and even South Carolina, I don't know what good of a chance you guys are going to have in terms of snow. I don't think you guys will get very much snow, if any, in those areas. Most likely it will be ice. And again, I think most of the ice will be from the mid part of the state on up north to the northern part of your state, closer to the coast. So like from Houston all the way to Florida and coastal Georgia, and maybe even to some degree coastal South Carolina. You might just have cold rain like you did last weekend. With the temperatures, in the atmosphere and on the ground being above freezing for majority of the time, even, with it being freezing not for a super long period of time throughout the night. Likelihood of freezing and sticking is, not great at this point, which is good. I mean, again, not built for that kind of climate in this part of the country. Um, but I know it probably would disappoint some people. Again, this could change. We don't know. I mean, like I said, tomorrow I might come on and it might all be, or it might all be purple. We just don't know yet. Um, but I would still in those areas from West Texas all the way to the Carolinas, um, Tennessee being included, Arkansas being included, and of course, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and even in North Florida might not be a bad idea just to get your voice out ahead. Make sure you have some, kind of a kit at your home if you need it, where you have shelf-stable food. Even if you don't get ice and or just need to get cold, I don't know necessarily you'd want to go per se and go to the grocery store. Also, stores might not get the deliveries on time like they usually do in case there is a lot of ice kind of blocking the deliveries from coming into the location. So even if you don't get ice, this is going to impact a big part of the country. It's going to bog things down. It's going to slow things down. So it's not a bad idea just to have an emergency kit handy in case it comes to need it. Um, so thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Let me know where you guys are located in the comments below. And I will have it to you guys tomorrow. Thank you.